Welcome to TribPreps Friday Night Football Edition. We're getting a little earlier.
A little.
It may not affect anybody out there, but as always, we'll go through a score list and we'll talk about some of the games that happened tonight. Some we were at, some we were not. Starting the MVC, a game we'll talk a lot about. Onalaska 29, Central 28. Logan beat Reedsburg 27-12, so they're also undefeated in the MVC, those two schools, along with Baraboo, which beat Holman 23-14 tonight. Sparta got a 21-20 win over Toma, so a big win for the Spartans there. Moving over to the Cooley, Aquinas beat Altoona 45-12. West Salem 50-6 over Arcadia. Westby 35-7 over Viroqua, so the Norsemen keep winning. GET 57-0 over Black River Falls. The Redhawks get their first win. Over to St. Bluffs, Luther 29, Royal 8. New Lisbon 38, Brookwood 12. Cashton and Bangor both won games on Thursday, so they didn't play tonight. In the Dairyland, Blair Taylor 44-20 over Whitehall. CFC 20-13 over Melmin. Down the SWC, Prairie du Chien gets a 43-7 win over Richland Center. Over Minnesota, Caledonia 47, St. Charles 6, Chatfield 45, La Crescent Hoka 6. And that's our score list. As I said, we have to talk about Onalaska Central.
Yep.
2-point conversion, 9 seconds left, or touchdown and 2-point conversion. 9 seconds left makes the winners out of the Hilltoppers, who have now won 2 in a row. Tell us how they did it.
This was a game that was really back and forth, really fun. And honestly, there's so much to talk about, but really all you really have to talk about is probably the last 6 minutes.
Okay.
Skipton is intercepted by Antoine Hardy. Sets up a short field for Central. They score with about 4:15 left. Onalaska gets it. And from talking with Coach Yashinsky and Adam Skipton and Isaac Skemp, who, spoilers, is the player who catches the touchdown and the 2-point conversion, both. They basically knew from the outset, we're going to go down, we're going to drive, and when we score, we're going for 2. We're not playing for overtime. They get the score with 9 seconds left, and then Skemp makes an unbelievable catch for the 2-point conversion. It was actually, apparently, he was a second option there because it was supposed to be just a jump pass to the tight end.
Oh, okay.
Ethan Toplowski.
Okay.
I think I'm saying that right. And apparently he was wide open, and Skipton just didn't see it, or thought he wouldn't be there. So
I thought they might try to jump ball Evan Anderson in a situation like that. But.
Well, that was why it was either go to Ethan, or go to the outside. You have Evan Anderson and Isaac Skemp. You got your 2 basketball players out there to try and get it, and that's why you put basketball players at wide receiver on the outside, I guess, is because they can win those matchups. This was a big game for Onalaska in many ways, I think, in part because it got them their confidence back. They just beat Baraboo undefeated, perfect record. I know they're perfect in the MVC.
Yeah, no, they're 3-1.
The only perfect team that was left in the MVC then in Central. 3-0.
Central was the only 3-0 team, yeah.
They beat them, and now they're sort of okay, we're back and established, it feels like, as the top dogs in the conference after struggling the first 2 weeks.
And then they got a rivalry win over Holman too. So
rivalry win over Holman. But the big thing Yashinsky sort of talked about was this defense feels like they're finding their own. They picked off Jude Alvarado twice tonight. They got a turnover on downs. They were able to get some stops that they really needed. And ultimately, they got enough stops to win by 1. And I guess that's all they could ask for. This easily also, I talked about this with you earlier, this could have also easily, if it goes the other way, this could easily be a game where Central says, we've established ourselves as one of the better defensive teams. Because they can say, Antoine Hardy gets an interception to lead to a game-winning touchdown, and then they could have easily said, we stopped Onalaska, high-pressure situation, 2-point conversion, and we got the stop and got the win. That's not how the cards played out tonight, and I'm sure they're frustrated with that, but they definitely look like a team on the defensive side of things that looked like they can play with anyone.
And they played well against the run, right?
Yeah, they
which
played super
established
well.
last week.
Yeah, they played super well
So-
against the run. I think they only held Cameron to maybe 30-ish yards. I didn't see exactly the final. I had like
Okay.
25 on my stat sheet, but
Okay.
as we've established talking in the past, I'm typically very wrong with the stats that I get. So I'll take whatever ones we can get from other people. But
Yeah, so big win for Onalaska. 2-0. Next week playing 2-0 Logan.
yeah,
So we'll see how that one shakes out. I was over at Logan tonight for that game. 27-12 over Reedsburg. Big story there. Logan gets 6 takeaways, 3 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. Johnny Lever, 2 touchdown runs, a touchdown pass, 2 interceptions. Guy continues to be everywhere for that team. Bradley Check had 120 some yards and a touchdown. Nick Jolly had the touchdown catch from Lever and also had an interception. They had 6 different kids, 5, with Lever getting 2 picks. Jolly had an interception, and then they had 3 different guys with fumble recoveries. So everybody getting in the act over there for Logan tonight. Good win. It was a tight game for a while, and Logan wasn't exactly taking full advantage of the turnovers. They were, obviously the turnovers were big to end drives, but they didn't convert really on too many of them. Converted on a couple of them, and that was enough to get them in control. Had a couple of big 2-point conversion stops as well, one that would have tied the game at 8. And then there was another one where Reedsburg got within 9 and they went for 2. And they had an open receiver in the end zone. The quarterback was rolling out. Nick Jolly got up there and tipped the ball away. So really good defensive play there. Had they got within 7, who knows? But that kept it a 2-score game at that point. So it was a big stop for them. We talked about how close your game was at the end. Sparta-Toma was the same. Toma got a touchdown and went for a 2-point conversion with 15 seconds left. Sparta got the stop on that one. And a big win for Sparta in that one. We talk rivalry. That rivalry goes back to the 1800s. And the Spartans shake off a 38-14 loss to Logan last week. So, and Toma now has lost 2 in a row. Logan Rouflet had 185 yards and a touchdown tonight, but Sparta managed to pull that thing out. Big game for Aquinas. Jacob Thornton had 3 touchdown passes, so a good game for him. Going out to Altoona and winning. That was a real one-sided game. West Salem broke out a little bit, scoring 50 and beating Arcadia 50-6. Westby still undefeated, as I said. Blake Sutton, another big game. Andrew Staxton had 2 catches, both touchdowns, of course. That's just kind of how his season's been going. And that was a rivalry game too, Westby Viroqua. So GET finally breaks out, 57 points against Black River. Let's see, Blair Taylor gets its first win here this year. Another big offensive night for Caledonia. They scored 47, scored 61 last week. So the Warriors are kind of starting the season the way they wanted to start, I would guess. Anything else jump out at you, James?
All I can think of is I want to shout out to Yashinsky, Onalaska, and Toma for going for 2 at the end of games. Especially at this point of the year, UWL is going to start playing soon, and I appreciate saying no matter what happens here, we're going home. That's a big thing for me that stands out because I'm surprised 2 teams did the same thing.
Yeah, and Onalaska was in an overtime game with West Salem in week 1. West Salem scored on the first possession, then Anna had it. West Salem got an interception to end that drive, but had Anna scored, they were going for 2. They already had decided. It was a game at West Salem. They're on the road. So not all that surprising that Onalaska would go for 2 in that situation because they claimed they would have done it in week 1 as well. So, down to 3 2-0 teams in the MVC. 2 of them play next week, so we'll see what happens there. But for now, you can find all of our work on lacrossetribune.com. We have lots of stories, videos, photos from games there. We post things throughout the week as well, and they all go to that site. Go to sports and then go to high school. That's the easiest way to find it. We have some other stuff kind of drowning it out, but if you follow those 2 tabs, you'll find all of our stuff theoretically. So we'll be back next Friday night. We'll talk about week 5 now that we've survived week 4. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you then.